Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. Today I'm doing Moira's This or That Autumn Challenge on Mercy Tiara's 27-Day Scrappy Challenge, as well as the Scraptacular Cropping Club's older challenge, the Blocky Border Challenge, which I really wanted to do this chevron design that Desiree did. You saw her layout there, but you'll see it ends up not working out. But for the This or That challenge, we basically had to pick between two different things in a list of items. So it was to use bold or bright pattern papers or subtle and pastel pattern papers. And usually I would go for the bold and bright, but this is another one of Bennett's baby albums, so I decided to go with the pastels. And then the background, we had to choose to either do cardstock or mixed media. So I went with this gray cardstock. It's called Stormy Gray. And then we needed to use sequins or splatters, which this whole page I'm thinking I'm going to do splatters at the end, and then I surprised myself. I pulled out my sequins, so that was weird. But after I did this whole background, I really didn't want to splatter on it, so that's why I went with the sequins. And then enamel shapes or puffy stickers, and again I'm thinking I'm going to use enamel shapes. I even pulled them out and have them set aside, but I end up going with puffy stickers. And then chipboard or die cuts, I end up going with chipboard, and then wood veneer or flair, so I end up going with wood veneer. But you'll see I attempted to do the chevron version of this design, and I think it was because a lot of these pattern papers are directional, where there is an up and a down because it's a picture. It was throwing my eye that it was on an angle, so I ended up making it this brick design, and I like how that looks a lot better. And I thought it was just going to be on a part of the page, but I kept filling it up, and then all of a sudden it was the whole page. But that's okay, I like how it looks. But it was not intentional. I did not think I was going to fill up the whole page at first. And then I was trying to decide if I wanted to do those two 4x4s of Becca or this one 4x6 of Brandon with Bennett. And I thought, I don't know if it was the brick layout, I don't know, it just seems a little bit more masculine, so I wanted to do one of Brandon. That's Bennett's daddy. And then I know right away I'm going to call it Proud Daddy. This is when he first got to hold him in the hospital after he was born, so I just had to do that. But those are the stylus stickers. They're just a nice big gray foam thicker. And then I just pulled out those Momenta stickers again. Takes me a while after I make this background to decide what else to do. I feel like I do this a lot when there's a specific design challenge. I get so focused on the design that when I finish that part, I don't know what to do with the rest of the page. So it takes me a minute. I just go through that little U6x6 and the cut aparts, and I figure it out slowly. But I'm just trimming that photo down a smidgen so that it will fit on a 6x6 mat. And I think paper-wise, I use exclusively little U, except for a wood grain that I pull in from my mind's eye. I keep thinking I'm going to use that Kaiser Craft sweater print, but I don't. That wood grain with the heart is a scrap from an older collection too. I'm not sure which one, but I thought I might use that as well, but that does not make it either. I really wanted to use this piece that says, I can't even read it, it's so tiny on my phone, Little Man Cub. I thought that was super cute, but it doesn't make it on this page. It'll end up in the album at some point, but because it's like a pinky red, it wasn't working with the papers I already had, so I go in a different direction. But this is the scraps from that My Mind's Eye Necessities wood paper pad. One of the pattern papers I used in the bricks has some wood grain in it, so I liked pulling that in more. And I feel like wood grain can go on anything, but I feel like it is more boyish, so I felt like it made this page a little bit more masculine. And then I did just want to bring in that darker greeny blue. I think that makes it a little more masculine too, but it also added some contrast because all of the papers on the background are very light. So this kind of gives your eye a place to go that kind of, I don't know, what would you even call it? Anchors the page, I guess would be the term. But I'm just going to cut this into a giant banner and then I'll use that as my base layer. And then once that's down, I felt like the obvious place was to put the title there, so that's where I decided to move it. And then I knew I really wanted to use this puffy sticker that said special delivery just because it was his birthday. And then I like the blue and the gold, so I decided to pull in that blue whale that's the same color, as well as that gold arrow. That gold arrow, I don't know if you can read it, it just says little love. But I just wanted to make sure that soft gold was somewhere else since it was in the special delivery sticker. And it's kind of funny, Marcus walks in at this point and he was like, you need a doily. So I was like, okay, guess I'll add a doily. He knows me too well. So I popped that doily down there. At first I was like, where am I going to put one that made sense? And I thought behind the whale, but then I thought that might make it a little unbalanced. So I like having that little edge peeking on the left side and then mimicking up in the upper right hand corner. I'll start an embellishment cluster. And I'll put that doily there as well, so I like how that ends up looking. And then I'm just trying to go back to my checklist to make sure I'm incorporating everything, and I know wood veneer was one of them. As you see my little list, I was circling things as I went to make sure I got it all. But I got some wood veneer pulled out that I'm thinking about using, and then the other thing I was worried I was going to forget was some chipboard, so I pulled in that crepe paper Journey. It had this nice bluey teal frame. So I decided I'd use that as the base of my embellishment cluster up there. So I just backed it in that same wood grain, and then I'm taking one of the cut aparts and I'm gonna fussy cut the things that are in it and make a little, you'll see. But I'm gonna put that on a base to anchor that up there, and then I'll get the cut apart put together. And again, I was trying to use the bear little man cub, but I end up going with this cute little, I don't know if it's a cat, I think. And it says, I love you this much, and it's got his arms out. So I just fussy cut him and popped him up on some foam, and then I'm taking the sentiment and making it a banner, and that's gonna both go inside that frame up there. And I like how that looks. I think this is the only picture I have of Brandon and Bennett right now, so I wanted to make sure he got his own page. I like how that looks, so I'm going to go ahead and get that stuck down. I knew we needed some wood veneer up there too, so I went ahead and pulled in those stars and that arrow, and I'm just gonna get all of that glued down. And this is where I was thinking about splattering, but I couldn't make myself splatter on this background just because it took so long to do. I was like, I can't mess it up, which usually is not something I care about, but again, this is a page for somebody else's album. So I do want to be a little bit more careful about when, because if it's mixed media and it gets messed up and it's my album, like, it's okay. But this is for somebody else. So I think that's why I went more on the sequin route rather than the splatter this time. But I really like how it looks. I wish I used sequins more often. I just forget about them, honestly. But I pulled these matte gold ones out. It's a really soft gold. It's similar to the foil that's in the puffy stickers. But they're from the PrimaMarketing's Love Clippings collection. And that is the finishing page. So I like how this one turned out. He's so tiny in that picture. I can't believe he just turned a month old. So looking back on the day he was born, I can't believe it was a month ago. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.